Hello and welcome back to my Let's Play series. Today I'm going to be showing off, or I mean not showing off, but showing everybody my mod for the game. Basically, it's been about a week since the last update, and so I spent maybe 30 hours making my own balance adjustments and generally making the game more enjoyable for me. Alright, so I'm trying to think of new ways and new tactics that I can show Frog Boy, or Brad Waddell, if you don't know him. Like strategies and stuff that he can see and then program the AI to both do and counter. So I think I'm going to pick a faction that I usually don't play. And, keep in mind that since this is a modded version with arguably better balance, perhaps not all of the tactics are relevant, because some of the tactics are things that I've added in. But hey, you could also just say, make a note and add it to the game if you really like it. So, this is Paradin. I usually don't play as Paradin because they're weak as hell in the vanilla version. But I've increased some of their abilities. Like, Marion Blood is +1 initiative per air shard, +3 spell mastery per air shard, +5 spell resistance per water shard, and +2 hit points per earth shard in combat, and they get -1 hit point per level. So before, I think it was +1 spell mastery, +1 spell resistance, and +1 hit point, which I thought was, sort of not a fair adjustment compared to the -1 hit point per level. And since they don't really have a lot of other advantages, other than their +1 essence for all cities, I took it upon myself to beef them up. I also changed the Sindarian staff to do 6 attack and 4 defense, with the idea that as you're using a two-handed staff weapon, much of your physical defense is going to come from blocking hits as much as you're attacking yourself. I mean, that's sort of the point of the staff weapon. So I've added 4 defense to that, a little bit of dodge, because I think it'll be easier to dodge attacks with a staff as opposed to a sword. And then, of course, you get the counter attack. So all in all, that's a pretty powerful weapon, but it's only going to be strong in the early game, when 6 blunt damage can still hurt people. After that, it's going to be kind of useless. But then you can get the monk's staff and so on. Let's see, the Queen's staff now does 8 blunt attack with no counterattack or anything. The Queen's staff originally was 4 blunt attack, which made me laugh and throw up at the same time, so that was fun. But I thought I'd change it, because, I get hungry afterwards. I think I left the spellbooks the same. They're kind of cheap, but they're in the mid-game, so there's a trade-off. It's only really useful once you're starting to build your general-style armies, where you have a hero working as a general. Let's see, their Adept's trait. Did I change that at all? Yes, they get an additional 140 mana from Adepts, whereas before it was only 40 mana, which, is kind of nothing with all the enchantments you have to cast early on. And in this particular version, you have to cast your enchantments every time that things would change, because most enchantments aren't going to know that the situation has changed and they won't update. So I think it's just better all around to have lots of mana available in the game. Which comes to an attunement, which is now +6 mana per season, which seems like a lot, but, well, it's supposed to be. Because this is a mage character, and mage characters need to use at least 6 mana per turn, just to survive. So that's them, and I was actually thinking about either doing Paradin or switching over to the Tarth. Tarth have some good stuff this time. I wanted to rework them so they were a little more competitive, so I bumped up the power of all their bow weapons. Actually, I bumped up the power of all bow weapons, but then I, also increased the power of these ones. You start off with the Heartwood Shortbow is 9 attack, -4 initiative. Shortbows have less of an initiative penalty, and longbows have more of an initiative penalty, which is the opposite of the vanilla version, where a short bow for some reason takes longer to shoot than a long bow. And if you've ever shot you know, either one of those, you would probably recognize that a short bow is much easier to fire and takes much less time. And then the longbow does a significant amount more damage, but takes longer. So the bonus that Tarth gets on the short bow is an additional attack, and it weighs less, which is going to be important for their faction because they're going to rely on high initiative. And then the Ithuane longbow actually has the same initiative as their short bow, which is the major bonus, but it does weigh 10 pounds or 10 whatever units of force measurement they use in Elemental. They don't really tell us. Let's see, and then it does 14 attacks, so it's definitely a step up. And then the Ram's Horn longbow does 15 attack, which is only +1 attack, and then, you know, the same -4 initiative. But it ignores 50% of the victim's defense. So, and it actually weighs 8 instead of 10, so it does quite a bit more damage. And, you know, considering that you, or at least in the vanilla version, you only get one weapon and no buildings and nothing else for researching advanced archery, and it takes so long to research, it's really only worth it if that weapon happens to be particularly powerful. So, I've upped that. I've also added some hero unlock bows to... Oh, you know what? Come to think of it, I have not added them. I did add the prereqs to them, but I did not say Isolde's shop in the XML, so that's something I'm going to have to do later on in the next game. But I think that these bows will sort of stand up for themselves. These bows are actually all better than the ones that I added, so it won't affect the game if I play as Tarth. Or it won't affect the game for Tarth, I should say. Oh yes, their Tarth Blood now does +5 attack and initiative when an army of 3 or smaller. The logic behind that was that in the amount of time where a human player has 3 units in an army, and that's still effective, +3 to attack and defense isn't enough of a bonus. And as soon as you get out of the point where that's no longer as good, like, it's never going to be as useful to have 3 units when you could be having 7 units. Even if those 3 units do an additional +5 attack and initiative, they're doing, you know, much, much worse than if you had tons of units in the army. And since human players are always going to have as many units as they can in the army, I don't think that this will be very much abused. On the other hand, the AI is sort of still in its infancy. Some might call it dumb. So it will make armies of 3 for the most part for Tarth. And if they're going to be making that kind of drastic gameplay mistake, they should be getting +5 attack and initiative at least. So there's a little bit of logic for you. Hope you weren't planning on watching someone play the game. Okay, so I'm going to choose Tarth. They're going to be more interesting. Alright, let's see. World size large, alright. Map type, let's do temperate. It'll be more Tarthy. Difficulty is harder, that's a custom difficulty I made. Which basically, it reveals Fog of War for the AI. It gives them less sort of cheating bonuses and that are like related to economy, and more sort of cheating bonuses that are related to just sort of having a fair shot against what humans can do. Monsters. I'm gonna turn monsters up to dense. I've done some really cool stuff with the monsters, and I want to show it off as much as possible. Pacing, normal, that's good. Magic strength. Yeah, moderate. Resource frequency, moderate, that's fine. Customize opponents. I want to make sure everyone's gotten the harder setting. Looks good. Oh, did I mention Masterwork Chainmail? The description hasn't been updated yet, but I changed it so that it replaces chainmail instead of heavy plate. And now they just don't get a heavy plate, they only get chainmail. But their chainmail is basically exactly the same as light plate. And it doesn't make sense to me to allow Gildan to get light plate instead of chainmail, but Tarth gets the same quality of gear somewhere around 150 turns later into the game. Doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'm trying out setting it as chainmail engine just not giving them any plate. We'll see how that turns out. I think it'll be fine, because honestly I hardly ever use plate. If I'm going to use plate, I'm going to use magical plate, because it's so much better. I mean, I think just wearing the, is it the bracers or the greaves give you plus 20 weight capacity. So they're pretty much negating themselves and another piece of armor. It's pretty amazing. Now some work that I've been doing but doesn't, it's sort of, you know, I think I originally made a really good staff mod for Beta 3, but it doesn't translate over to Beta 4, unfortunately. And I think a lot of even the animations and stuff names have been changed in little minute differences. So now I'm working on adding my staff mod to sort of sync in with Beta 4. What that'll add is you'll do magical staves, and they'll have like a radius of 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then there will be even better staves that do all enemy units, and then there'll be crazy staves that do all units on the battlefield. And so I'll add those a little bit to random loot, and some of them to the magic tree, which will be interesting. I'm also making some additions to staves, like mundane staves, I guess you'd say, where you have a lot of them that do different levels of attack and defense, and are actually pretty decent if you want to try and build a monk-type unit. I mean, monk staff is good, but it's sort of, it's missing some family members, if you ask me. Alright, so this is less of a story time mod, or let's play, and more of a let's look at the balance of the game let's play video. Alright, so I am Tarth, which means I want high production over anything else. And a 422 is actually going to be better for a conclave. Much as I don't really want to start off with a conclave as this. I'm going to control in this, which is totally cheap. And takes even longer for you guys to watch. Usually I make sure I get a good start before I start the video, but this time I was hoping I'd just get lucky. So I'm looking for a 4-3, maybe a 5-3-1 or something like that. But I want to be able to get a solid production base and some metal. Crystal's not going to be as important for this particular faction. You know, unless you try to build a magical Tarth race, which I don't think really works. Actually, it will work once I get my some of my major mods out the door after release. I'm going to work on the Tarth tattoo magic stuff. Okay, so this starting place is very unique in that it's worse than the last one. And, you know, it takes a lot of work to be worse than what it was last time. So we're going to control in one more time. This is the problem with control in, is it doesn't ever guarantee you a better start. It just guarantees you another load screen. I don't think that one even had any starting resources near it. In my previous tests, I think I was playing as Paradin, but I didn't, you know, record any of them because they were terribly unbalanced and really not much fun to watch. But I started with Conclave, and Conclave got way too much research. So really there was no better choice than getting Conclave early, because Conclave could research at, you know, 2 or 3 times the speed as any other buildings, which meant that you'd get 2 or 3 times more tech, and then get way ahead of your enemies. Unless they built Conclaves as well, but since they didn't know that Conclaves were better, they were just building a normal amount of them. Now they've been nerfed, so I'm going to try a fort build. Alright, what do we have here? Wow, this is nice and secluded, but also a terrible start. So we're gonna control in one more time. I really wish I could make my own maps, because then I could ensure balanced testing of features, just because everyone could have a fair start. Seems like a good time to comment about the sort of imbalanced nature of starting position. I'm guessing that it's difficult to do because you create a stamp, and a stamp gets, you know, a random amount of resources put around it. And perhaps in the next update we'll get sort of the fruit of their labors that they've been claiming they're working on better starting positions, but I wouldn't say that I've seen a huge difference so far in Beta 4 about, you know, what's a good, like always getting something that works. In fact, that first one I got was far superior to anything else I've gotten since, which is kind of bothersome. So we're going to continue to Control N. I've been trying to use the War of Magic map editor and then port my maps over. And it kind of works, but I don't think that the code's exactly the same, so it kind of doesn't work as well. And I think that actually I was getting a lot of crashes and stuff when trying to load those maps. So don't try that. It's terrible. I was thinking that I got it to work in Beta 1, but maybe that's because Beta 1 was a lot more similar to War of Magic. I can't remember what happened though. I don't know why it would be difficult, but it seems like they could just, you know, write some code that says every starting position has one crystal, iron, or shard adjacent to it. I mean, that would ensure either bonus production or bonus essence. Alright, so now I'm going to take it because an earth shard is decent as far as starting positions go. Yeah, so I don't feel like waiting too much longer either. So let's settle here. Cue awesome picture. I think this is one of the rare instances where I like the kingdom picture better than the empire picture. Normally, you know, Empire has all the cool stuff because they're the cool guys in the realm, but in that particular instance, I'd rather be one of the uncool guys. All right, I think that you know, Mancer blood. Obviously, we don't have Capitar anymore, so when they were updating the bloodlines and balancing them, they figured, you know, why would we waste dev time on balancing Mancer blood? My answer would be because so many units have Mancer blood. So this one was +1 accuracy per level, kind of useless, especially after you look at the other bloodlines. So I upped it to +2 accuracy per level, which really doesn't have... Oh, whoops, a little bit of mouse spasm there. It really doesn't have too much of an impact. Like, let's see, what is his accuracy? 79, so... That's 2 from level bonus, 2 from Mancer Blood, base value 75. So he's doing like 2% better per turn than anyone else. But most heroes are pretty darn accurate. And what kind of weapon does he have? He has a Warhammer, which I personally find useless, especially if you have Gambler's Strike. Hopefully I can get him a dagger or something. Forgot to hire him. 56 Gildar. That's a fair price. Oh, cool. I lucked out. Getting a Sand Golem this early in the game is kind of like, you know, a lease on life to go on a rampage. I think I've also increased the HP for so many single unit monsters that Sand Golems will actually be pretty powerful. He was at 23 HP, whereas I think they started at like 8 HP before, at level 1. I'm not sure exactly. Okay, so let's look at what we have here. We've got a production weak city, kind of sad and pathetic. So we'll start out with enchanted hammers. It's a good bet. Alright, now we've got a decent production base. I'd like to keep that money coming in. So cleric is going to be minus 10% at 7 turns. For an extra 3 turns we can get additional growth. And, you know, merchant for the economy. But I think I'm going to go with growth first in this case. And I'm not really... Actually, that's the weird thing about Lady Irene. She is... Oh, she does have the hunter. This doesn't show up. Oh, this didn't show up when I was looking at it earlier. I switched it to plus 100 attack versus beast to give her a little more advantage in the early game. So she's going to have plus 5 attack, which you can see she already does. Physical attack bonus. And then she's got plus 5 initiative, which negates the penalty from using a bow. And she's got air 2, fire 1, life 1, which is a pretty good magic combo. And she's got impulsive. Overall, it's a solid starting unit. Considering that I can just put the Sand Golem in the front line, it's immune to poison for this particular Black Widow, and then she can peg it from afar. So I don't need too much of an army to start. I think, I don't know, a 4-2-2 is going to be kind of a terrible city. It might not even get to level 5. I've got 20% unrest, 22%. So yeah, I'll do cleric next. I want to get rid of as much of that stuff as possible. Oh, I forgot. Of course, at the beginning of every game, every player must remember to cast Inspiration, or fall terribly far behind. Oh, here's a... Well, let's see. Actually, that's the fault of my city. I'm losing almost one research per turn from my unrest. That's why it's so important to get rid of unrest. Let's see. I'm kind of thinking about splitting up my units. It's an unusually long turn time. Oh, that's why. I forgot to pick a research path. It's hard to go wrong with starting out with civics. But you really need study, because research is the most important thing in the beginning of the game. Unless you're, actually no, even if you're a mage, all my mages go for it too. See, look at that, 17 damage. I've got the animations turned up faster. I want to see if this would make me like the animations more. Huh, irony. I was just talking about how everyone's pretty accurate, but she just missed twice against a spider. So maybe it's a good thing they have extra 2 accuracy. Okay, so this will give me my buildings there. Interesting. Knowledge won't actually help me for a few turns, so I could sneak something else in there first. I think I'll sneak in leatherworking, right? Of course, I won't be able to afford any of this, will I? I definitely can't afford any of that. So we'll do civics first. And then knowledge, because civics will give me +1 prestige. Tear of Syndrome. I kind of end up buffing this every game. +10 hit points whenever an enemy is killed is kind of an important and powerful thing for a hero to have. I think that should be kind of like the basic par for each item. is something that you can potentially use to kick ass with, but is reliant on other objects as well. Seems like too many times I see items that do nothing important that you just kind of want to burn for warmth, like the Ring of Attack. I laugh so hard every time I put it on because it's like +1 attack. Now I can, I don't know, finish an easy battle slightly faster or lose a difficult battle slightly slower. It's not the best thing. Okay, so look at this here. We got bandits coming after me. Pretty low health, but look at their armor. Their armor is at 8 right now while they're defending because they've got natural armor. And if you look behind their back right here, they've got daggers instead of crude clubs. So suddenly they you know, sort of offer an actual threat to the game. Whereas I felt like before they really weren't doing much for it. Oh, I meant to attack something that wasn't blocked, but it worked out. Because that wolf is a beast, and beasts die quicker. See, look, that counterattack's already working out for them. I'll use Gambler's Strike for the heck of it. See, this is a pretty balanced battle, and we're only on, like, what, turn 3 right now? Now, I'm not saying every player would have the presence of mind or luck so that Tear Syndrome fills them up at the end of the battle. Wonderful. The skill or presence of mind to do what I just did, but I feel like that's what they should have to learn when they start playing the game. I mean, that was kind of an easy battle, even with the buffs that I gave it, that I gave the enemy, I mean. Alright, so what do I want to choose for this one? I buffed up potential a little bit. I might try that. Because I'm going to have 2 units in here the whole time. Then again, I'll just increase the initiative. Alright, so I got lucky with this guy. He's got earth damage, accuracy, or earth magic, accuracy, and Gambler's Strike. I'm going to try and work him as a tank or warrior. Probably a tank. Or, let's see. No, he already chose Adventurer's Boon, so I've got to go tank. Adventurer's Boon is only good for people that are going to be on the front line. Art of the Fist. That's +1 attack. One thing that's a really good idea to rush with Tarth is a horse technology. It might seem like kind of pointless, but since they already have such great movement, you want to increase that movement as much as possible. Alright, so here we've got the bandits' army. It's about the same as what I just destroyed, so I'm going to assume I can kill them. Alright. Back for this one. The AI is kind of dumb right now. They're trying to move all as one group, but they should be moving 2 turns, or 2 spaces forward all as one group. Right now they only know how to move 1 space forward as a single group, which means that bows are getting an unfair advantage. But I'm going to keep the advantage. I love that you can do bash now. I forgot about that. using Gambler's Strike negates your chance to bash, so it's generally a bad idea to use it. Unless it's something that you already can't bash. Oh, there's more guys here. Interesting. So they're spawning... I set them up to spawn armies of about that size in the early game. And they spawn them... They have a 100% chance of spawning them every 15 or 20 turns. So if you kill one in the wild, but you don't get to the lair in time, you're going to have a bit of a fight. Oh, okay, so if you look here, this bandit has a lot more health. That's the boss bandit that I set up. I'm gonna attack the dog. I want the sand golem to soak up as much of those throwing knives as possible. Throwing knives aren't that dangerous, but at this stage of the game, you really can't afford to risk it. All my units have kind of low health. Actually, Back of the Baker does it. He's got plus 15 health already. Man, that sucks. I was gonna say, I hope that they don't start critical hits with those daggers they have. But then he gets that plus 10 health. Doesn't save him through the battle, but certainly helps. Let's use the Gambler's Strike. There's 2 misses in a row. I like to count my losses from... I just realized that I don't really hear the music enough. Usually I play some classical choices during the game, but I'm having some issues with my CPU at this stage of summer, so I decided to use a little bit less CPU power while playing. Maybe I'll switch back if people complain enough. Actually, the in-game music's pretty decent. I think they've added a lot more to it since last time I turned it on. Civics, and then knowledge. What do we have here? Darkling Lurker. Now I didn't change all of the enemies, except now he's using a normal short bow instead of a crude short bow, I believe. Let's double check. No, he's got crude short bow, so yeah, I didn't change this guy at all. Because you need some really light units near starting positions. Sharp dagger, nice. That will replace Warhammer pretty well. So I guess I could make him a melee-based assassin. Currently in the process of reworking the traits to compensate for all of the nerfing I did to weapons. Basically, I took weapons down a notch. Well, more like 10 notches for Heart of the Glacier and those overpowered weapons. So you can't just click the win button every time you find one. But then I realized that really heroes are not nearly as competitive now against enemies, so I've added attack values and other opportunities for leveling. In fact, I think I'm going to give maybe all heroes a trait that is plus 1 HP, or maybe plus 3 HP per level. Not sure about that. Oh, okay, this is nice. I set up mites to, you know, like, they're not very powerful, but now whenever there's a mite lair, it's sort of like a cockroach infestation. They come in large numbers, and they never stop breeding. I think I set it to like every 10 turns they spawn 5 new armies of mites. So, like, you might not lose against them, and they won't really give you any extra XP. It's like 1 XP per battle usually. But they're going to be really annoying, and they can really, you know, sort of dwindle your resources if you're not careful about them. You really don't want one of these lairs near an outpost. You gotta make sure you clear it out right away. And it'll take a few turns to do so. That Tear Syndrome is gonna be awesome for an assassin. Because at any time I could randomly crit. Not there, I guess. But I could randomly crit and get 10 HP back. So the next thing I could do is fast. But really finesse is better. Because plus 3 attack for a bow weapon is pretty great. And then he's got Earth Disciple. It's hard to pick anything else for him, because that will give me Stone Skin. I don't need to cast it right now. I'll wait till I get that Earth Shard. See, look at this. The mites are just coming like a rampage from some lair somewhere. Alright, so I always mark my mana before I auto-resolve. Looks like she shot a nuke at them. Oh, there's one underneath there too. Okay. So, auto-resolve. Doesn't look like she's using any mana, fortunately. And we got 6 XP. Why did she get 6 and... Oh yeah, everyone... Okay, there's a lot of mites in the army, I guess. So that would have been 12 XP if it was just one of them. And I didn't take any damage. Nice. Okay, so here's a decision I have to make. Do I want to do a 4-2-3 with a conclave, a 4-3-2 with a town, or a 4-2-2 with a fortress? I would almost double my research by choosing conclave. Greatly increase my production speed with town, but I mean, there's no real ideal ceiling for or leveling for town, because 4 grain is not going to get you very much, and since I haven't found any grain nearby, I have to assume that this is going to be a level 3 maximum city. Let's see, level 3, I don't have access to slum, so I can't get the food bonus I would need. So really, I think it'll be better overall to choose conclave and just go for a little bit of research bonus. I was hoping to be able to have a better choice. My unrest is pretty much gone, right? Oh no, it's still at 12%. Oh right, okay, as soon as I build that, it'll be gone. Cleric's almost done, and then I'll choose Sage. So 6 research. Sage won't really be a huge bonus. It'll be about +2. Mana per season. Merchant. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with merchant. Oh, I left some goodie huts nearby. There's the mite lair. I'm gonna go destroy it. Alright, so now I need to make a decision about administration. I don't really need the unrest. I don't really need the influence. Trading's a moot point. Agriculture will probably be needed sooner than later. And then there's mining. The other problem is I don't have a lot of money, so a lot of these other options aren't really ideal options. I do want to increase my mana per turn. Oh well, I think I'm going to go with the mine choice, because overall I want to get my construction as soon as possible, and ideally I'd like to find a place to build a fortress pretty quick, because that's what you want to have, a fortress great meal combination. This is a big army. What kind of weapons do these guys use? I know I switched it. Yep, they use daggers as well. Interesting. That maybe this 2x animation speed is going to be my new go-to speed. It's a lot more action-packed. Damn, they really don't get a lot of move choices. I should make a scout. Pioneers are uniquely good as Tarth because we can pretty much avoid monsters. They don't generally attack us very much. Whoops. Keep on moving her forward. Not really used to playing with archers because I don't find them to be very well balanced. So far they're doing about the same overall, except obviously bonus attack versus beast. Destroy that lair. I wonder if this unit will come back on me. Nope, it just left. Good. Strong healing potion out of the deal. I'm gonna preemptively trade that to my frontline unit. He's the only guy that's gonna need it. Hope has cleric. I'll sneak a pioneer in here. Whoops. If I didn't backtrack there. Nope. Good. This is a long mountain range. I expected it to bump in here. I did some tweaking to the map generation to make sure I don't get too many watery areas on the map. It should be 80 to 90% land instead of 60 to 80% land. Pretty big change. Quest and some research. At this stage in the game, getting the plus 20 research from this Lost Library is, I mean, that's like 3 turns worth of research done for me. In fact, it'll complete mining if I do it. It's pretty cool. Oh, I can get a warhorse. Wonderful. Just need to kill a troll. There we go, mining. Next to get agriculture. The most important thing, even for a city with only 4 grain, is to get lots of good, or to make sure you're constantly growing. Like this city is about to stop growing, so I'm going to add garden as soon as possible. Pioneer's finished. Alright, so I'm gonna save here. I'm not totally sure that this pioneer is gonna be safe. It's supposed to avoid monsters, or monsters are supposed to avoid it, or something like that. But I've never really gotten that to work as well for me as I thought it should. Wow, there's a lot of quests around here. I definitely should have gone on the inside track to these mountains. Did I just see bandits over there? That should be impossible. I destroyed their lair fair and square. Wow. This might take a little bit of clearing out. This is why you can't let bandits sit around for too long, because the lairs will actually upgrade after about 50 turns. Here's my first critical hit. There's my second critical hit. That's good. I should have let the swordsman do the attack, though. He would get plus 10 HP from it. Okay, so now I've got agriculture. I'm gonna go construction. All of these bonuses will help my overall plan to build a really good fortress. All of Tarth's bonuses are pretty much what is that? That unit has a weird... That must be a defense effect. Oh, look at that. was I saying? Anyhow, Tarth doesn't have a lot of economic advantage, so you need to rely on a large civilization, and your early game advantage to scout. Let's see here. Another 422. Huh. I guess then maybe I'm never gonna get what I want. That's all just part of the game. Wait, is he level, he's only level 5 and he's got 1714. What is going on here? Silver broadsword, wow. Mancer. He's got plus 8 to armies dodge, path to defender, and strength. So 26 dodge overall. Guardian 1, 2, 3. That is a unit I would like. This looks like it's going to be another conclave, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, there's 2 shards. There's no denying it that this needs to be a conclave. Man, if that shard was right here, I would get a 4-2-3 spot. And then that would be 4 essence, which is pretty much unheard of unless you're Paradin. I should have played as Paradin with this kind of start. One thing to note is that for a temperate map, there's very few forests that I can use. Forest should be massive on a temperate. Ancient ruins. Haha. There's a loophole. Alright, so I gotta kill this bandit. And then I'm gonna do an overall view of what's going on in the game, and how I think that this change to monsters is turning out. Really, it's not monsters in general, it's the monsters faction specifically. They're kind of their own faction in the game. I wonder if I can set this up to get a kill from each of them. There we go. Tear Syndrome is such a lucky find early in the game. I think that I forgot to increase its rarity, because before it was plus 3 HP per kill, and I felt like that was kind of useless. But then, if it's a extremely common item, then it's okay for it to be useless. Okay, so she made level 4. Obviously she's going to be Path of the Assassin, because that's the best for bows. And he's Buck with a Beggar. I don't know, I'm tempted to do Path of the Assassin. Yep, I think it'll be fine. Buckle the Beggar sounds more like an assassin's name anyways. I wonder if those crit increases. Oh, there's one thing I should talk about. Path of the Assassin now does plus 3 critical chance, plus 3 attack, plus 1 critical chance per level, and plus 50% critical damage. So each path of the insert thing here is more powerful now, and that's to make up for the weak nature of weaponry. Which, cool enough, I think, it makes bows much more useful because any warrior can pick up a bow and do better damage with it than a normal unit. See, like here I've got an attack of 14 from a bow that's only supposed to be doing 5 damage. And that's just going to get better and better as I level up and get, bows that aren't made out of twine and stick. Also, suddenly that attack versus beast is going to be very useful. What else? Path of the Warrior is a natural plus 6 attack. Path of the Defender is plus 3 attack. And then I think it's plus 25% defense. So you get a little more bang for your buck out of those paths. And it's pretty easy to get to level 4, so it works out as good balance. Ah, wonderful. Perfect timing for a critical hit. Unfortunately, I won't get the lair this turn. So let's cross our fingers and hope that Pioneer survives. Yeah, the AI didn't see it. Good. Alright, so now we can choose where we want to put this city. There's a lot of monsters here. Oh, but I do have access to an iron there, so that's actually a 4-3-2. Which right now is just kind of screaming, maybe even town there, actually, because see, 6 grain is a decent spot for a town. Chain boots, that's something I won't have access to later. She's only going to have access to master chain boots. Oh good, my earth altar is in the works. Currently I've got 1 food left, so I'm actually going to switch that over to that. Workshop is... see, there's only 2 materials here, so that's plus 4 materials. It's a significant increase, but not the best. What's my unrest at? 2%. I suppose after that, Sage will be fine. 13 seasons, 12 seasons. Mason might be more valuable than Sage. I increased the power of Mason so that it's not powerless. 15% reduction in cost is going to add up a lot sooner than the previous balance. So yeah, this is a 4-3-2. $16 production. Let's see if we can't get that higher. 24 production. What are we doing over here? So I already equaled my previous city in production. What's the second choice? Plus 5 production per essence. Or actually, I guess inspiration is my only really good choice. I don't need the other boost yet. Monster repellent. That's not necessary for Tarth. Let's go to the shop. I haven't been to the shop yet. I've got some items for sale. Oh, and then trade. Come to think of it, my frontline unit is going to be much better off with those chain boots. Yeah, he's at 7 defense now. Oh, did I not pick a construction project? It's kind of a big mistake. Workshop, obviously. The next choice is harder, though. Probably Bell Tower. Because my unrest is, what, at 22%. And then Cleric will get it the rest of the way down. Wonderful. This is just a normal ogre. Or no, it's banished, so it'll be even easier. Alright, that was a pretty huge mistake on my part. I'm still not used to using a proper bow unit. Not used to attacking on the first turn. See, that's another example where the AI needs to be using a different algorithm if it's only one unit like that. After this area is cleared out, I'm going to go after that warhorse for my assassin, Baka the Beggar. +1 research. It's more than 10% research bonus. Oh, and then this will give me access to logging camp. Wonderful. See, now that I've started to level up, these bandits are much less competitive. Can you imagine if they didn't have any armor and were using clubs? It would just get ridiculous. The thing that I have trouble sort of realizing, but I just thought about again, is that I play the game a lot differently than people just starting out, or people that have been playing, you know, every once in a while to see how the beta's going. Because I understand every game mechanic, and that gives you a pretty, you know, different concept of what you should be doing and when, if you know exactly how everything is working. And not only that, I'm getting to the point where I've actually changed the very mechanics of the game to play the way that I think they should play. And obviously that gives me a huge advantage in playing, most likely. More chain boots. That should be pretty much unheard of in the game to get two of the same bonuses at once. Although I feel like it happens more often than it should. I wonder if it's a problem with the random function. But that sort of thing is impossible to tell as a bystander. Only the devs really know how that stuff works. I mean, I know how it works. Pick a number between 1 and 500, basically, is how it works. But we can't see the actual code behind it. $52 of 100. New Hollis has a workshop. Oh no, those bandits might be able to destroy that city. Even though they're not supposed to see it. They might accidentally walk through it. Okay, they retreated. I wonder what is over here to the west. This map looks like, I mean, if you look right here, there's only 2 settleable places that I've even found in the game so far. Whoops. Meant for them to go past this point. So I might sort of assume that those could be my only 2 cities for a while. That's the point I was going to make. We got really spoiled in my last game. I found an 11... what was it? 11 grain after everything was said and done, with an additional, I think it was 5 materials and 2 essence, and some of that was spells, but basically there was just so much grain around the city, so I turned it into like a super town, and then I had a 4-8 for my fortress, which is, you know, unheard of as well, and I had a 4-2 for my starting position, so sometimes you find really good spots out there. But now it's sort of made me compare everything else I get to that. Having groups in only 31 turns is rather appealing. Oh, you can see here I changed short bows to banditry. And as I suspected, the other bows aren't showing up. I'm actually going to go for banditry next. It's going to take me a while, but it'll pay off as soon as I get it. Ooh, a hate stone. I love a good hate stone. I've got the workshop. Mason. I'm gonna go for the Mason right away. In the long run it'll pay off very well. So I guess this 4-3 is going to be my fortress, which means it's got to also be the place where I build the Great Mill. Oops. Great Mill in 22 turns. So this will decrease that by 3 turns, but cost 5 turns. I'm not in a huge hurry to build it. Where should I put it, though? I think here's about right. That'll give me a strategic block. Okay, so Cleric's fine, but I'm going to get rid of Iron Mine for now. And Water Shard. There's a lot of bad guys around here. Can I kill Azazel? 25 attack? Wow, that's a good weapon. Oh, right. Wow, that weapon's bigger than he is. Great Axe. Great Axe does 25 attack, and it's got 33% armor pierce, which is, you know, ignores armor. Plus he's got a good set of spells with Death 2, Fire 2, and he's Path of the Mage. I ought to just kill him because of the danger he poses. What do his allies do? 16 damage. Not quite ready to take him on, unfortunately. I would need at least leather working. Alright, where's the horse? Horse is there. Alright, I'm fighting the troll. But he's twisted, not beast, unfortunately. Oh, and one cool thing, if you look at the troll, you might notice he's got a maul in his hand instead of a crappy old crude club. Very dangerous unit. Let's all hang back from him. And he's dumb enough to come at me at 1 move per turn, too. Actually, he's probably okay doing that, because unless I get a critical hit, he's gonna heal almost everything I do to him. That maul is just so brutal. I don't want to lose my sand golem over this. Crap. His ability to regenerate is pretty effective. I'm really hoping for a critical strike. Damn it. Oh, okay, good. That dodge is about the same as a critical. I was sure I would lose both of those guys there. Got the warhorse. Warhorses are really great, and you can't get them anymore from building a city near a stables. So that is a huge boon. So obviously I've made trolls much more dangerous. They have such a huge blunt damage attack. And you really need a high damage per turn to stop them. Or fire attack, but I didn't want to waste my mana on fire there. That would be a last resort. Oh, there's leather. Okay, continue research to weaponry. So now we really have a reason to go back. I need the Kodas. Greaves and the helmet. I think I'm going to get rid of this warhammer. Actually, I'll keep it in case I come up against a stone golem or obsidian golem. It's a good counter for them. I'm going to risk it and not give her any. In fact, she's losing 2 initiative with these boots on as it is. So we'll take those off. Looks like we're gonna have to stay here overnight. Oh, interesting. They both completed Mason at the same time. Oh, I just thought of something too. I can send old Baco on a little express trip to pick up these items. And since these two units are healed, what's this level? Level 1. It needs 23 more population. So in about 15 turns or so, that'll be a good place to build the units. And in 15 turns, I'll have weaponry. I like to make kind of a swashbuckling dagger unit for my Tarth players, but let's see if it's still valuable with the new balance. I probably should have changed the dagger to do 2 counterattacks instead of 1. Makes it a much better weapon for tanks. But that kind of diminishes the power of the Athican short sword. Legend of Tundus. 10 experience. Huh. I find it surprising that I've been attacked by such a weak opponent. Plus 20% pierce attack, wow. I'll take it. I increased the apprentice marksman, or like the bonuses basically that you get to attack that they added. I increased all of them a little bit so that they would be more effective. Now, I mean, obviously the argument would be, oh, well, those aren't going to scale well then, because you've increased them so much. But I would rebut that there's no weapons that are going to give you such a high attack that that's going to get ridiculous. In fact, with all the bonuses, with all the traits that increase attack, plus the best weapon in the game, you're still only going to be doing about 50 damage, maybe 60. So it never gets too out of hand. Sometimes I debate with myself. It can't be helped. It's the only way to stay sharp. A minor upgrade on shield. There's something that I just love about the shield aesthetics. I should have seen this before, but it doesn't pan out. I was going to say, if this fallen land goes far enough over, I could build a fort over here. This fallen land is a valuable place. What is locked out here? Is that Order of Asok? Nice. I buffed Order of Asok to do some ridiculously cool stuff. They're a real powerhouse now, but they cost. Everything has to be paid for. Oh good, yeah, so now I can get my logging camp. Bell tower. Don't really need a bell tower. Do need a sage. Look how powerful that is. He just, well, I mean, not powerful, but convenient. He just walked, or rode his horse through what would take another normal unit maybe 5 or 6 turns. He got through in 2. It's wonderful. And I think I might be able to colonize down here. That's a blocked tile, isn't it? So all these tiles are blocked. And I don't want to face wolves. Is that Great Wolf? No, it's a wolf lair. I'll attack it. I should have the health to do this. Well, actually, it looks like I've got the armor to do it. Forgot this unit had leather on. I think that the best battles, mechanics-wise, are between 2 units with that both have counterattack. Another Legend of Tundus. Wonderful. Earth Mage. Set in stone, not buying it. Finesse? Maybe. +3 attack. That's pretty good considering he's using a very weak weapon. But the Vital Strike, you know, overall is going to do more damage. Uh-oh, this troll army is going to level up soon. I really wish we could get rid of all the spiders in the game. I'm going to make a non-spider mod for the arachnophobes out there. Although, as far as I've checked on the forums, I'm the only one. Here we go. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. This is where you build a town. So now they've got that forest there that gives them a 33. No, but this one's still doing better. Plus in 10 turns I'll have Great Mill. Codex of Hostin. It would be foolish to let him take a spell mastery bonus. He doesn't use spell mastery. Actually, it would be cool to call spell mastery focus, like your focus level, because then it wouldn't just be spellcasting, it could be ability usage. Like if Gambler's Strike did 3 times damage, and the percent chance was based on your focus level, I think that would be a better game mechanic than just a static 50% chance. And once the player learns about the fact that Gambler's Strike negates your chance to crit, it kind of ruins the entire trait, because it's sort of a trait geared for assassins, but why would an assassin negate their chance to crit? Alright, before I first... Ooh, a 4-4. Of course there's a 4 strike there. Sage. You want a sage, but you don't need a sage. Banditry in 15 seasons. Huh, alright. So let's look at the cloth map. I haven't actually done that yet. This sometimes gives me a better idea of how the map will look. One thing I'm annoyed about is this entire corner right here should have land in it. I guess it might still. I need to check this, but I wanted to set it up so there'd be very little areas that are just big wastes of space like that. But so far the map looks alright. It's pretty big. The monsters, since we're doing an overview, the monsters are plentiful. I mean, it's on dense, but where they're plentiful, they're also challenging, which is the biggest difference. So like a troll with 30 attack, 8 defense, and regeneration, that's scary. I don't care who you are. I didn't change stalkers, except I think I gave them a little bit extra health. Maybe not. It's level 3, I must not have. Bandits are certainly doing a better job of sending armies out. My plan for roving bandits is working out very well, according to plan, one might say. The map change is still to be determined whether or not that worked. What I think I'll do is make it 5% water, maximum 10%. I'd like to stay here and kill all these guys, but my feeling with the AI is that they're much less likely to go out killing stuff, and much more likely to go out building cities. Plus, I don't want to overextend myself, so I shouldn't be building things until I know where all my options are. Lots of good life shards in this map. Tarth, I think it was a rocky start for the Tarth's ignore creatures things, but so far in this particular test, it's working out extremely well. I'm gonna end turn here just to be safe. And I can't say exactly why, but this seems to be a perfect example of how to use the Tarth starting abilities. It's going to be hairy getting my Pioneer down here, but it'll be a hell of a lot faster than any other unit, or any other faction's unit. Yeah, darn it, I was hoping that this would all connect over that way. On the music side, I'm not really hearing a lot of sort of interesting music while I play the game, so I will switch back to my classical choices. I messed that part up. I need to move to this river tile, and then over through there. That's not good. That's too much river in that area. So I think I'll go down here on the left there. What was that noise? Ah, okay. Specialization time. A 4-3. It's going to be a decent fortress, considering that it's got 2 essence. It would make it a pretty good conclave too in the late game. And obviously, town would make it a 4-4. Cast the grain spell to make it a 6-4-2. But right now what I really need is a fortress, so that's what I'm going to choose. One thing I think that works about the changes that I made is a 4-2-2 has a lot of great options, and really any combination of tile yield can be used in any way, but as you specialize more and more, it's only good for one thing. But the one thing that it's good for is your choice. And it's extremely good at that thing. I cannot say the same for the vanilla version, where everything is great for research, which means that it doesn't matter what you choose, because no matter what you do, you're specializing in research. But I mean, you could make arguments about that, making it everything more general and thus better overall for like ease of use. But if I wanted ease of use, I would not be playing turn-based strategy games. And if I was going to play an ease of use turn-based strategy game, I'd go play Civilization 5. The only thing hard to play about that game is it tends to crash a lot for me, so that's hard, but the overall gameplay is extremely simplistic. Sage. What was my next plan? Lumberyard. That'll work. My lumberyard gives you +2 production per material instead of +1. Originally, I liked the idea that it's a minute increase, but that was when I thought that +1 production material was worth a damn. But after further calculation, I realized it's not worth a damn. It's the equivalent of getting 1 turn taken off of a maybe like a 15-turn thing or something like that in most cases. +4 production is just, you know, not competitive. And that's if you had 4 material. So here we see a bit of an army cropping up. This is what I wanted. See, because it's been, let's see, we're at turn 60, and there's been no colonization of this area. So the monsters have begun to colonize it, which is the way that I wanted things set up. You've got darklings here in the northeast, you've got mites in the southeast, and trolls and spiders in the west. Now each one of these lairs is going to continue to increase in difficulty about every 50 turns or so. So the longer you play the game, the harder everything gets. I think for the sake of brevity, it takes a long time to upload these videos. I'm going to end things, do a status check on a couple of the projects I'm working on outside, and then come back. But I would at least like to build my town and revel in its triumph real quick. Let's see, there's a 521. It's got the best territory spread too. So that will be the spot. There you go, Ithuane, the future town mecca. And you know, of course, my towns, I focus less on wages, and I focus more on plus HP per grain. So, you know, high grain, strong tank units is going to be the goal here. Which, you know, I've heard some opposing theories on, you know, like what we should be specializing a town in, and people say, oh, well, you know, trained units are not the place for a town. Towns are all about economy. But really, the current balance of the game sets every building to do economy pretty well, because you're getting taxes, and taxes, if you get your unrest low enough, are going to do much better Gildar than a town ever will. A town will essentially be doing maybe 15 to 50% more taxes than any other city. And to me, that's not enough to justify the only specialization aspect for a town. I like it better where a town can do tank units, it can do very good Gildar, or very fast growth. So basically the idea is that level 5 buildings that I've set up, and pretty much, yeah, in the standard game, are epically strong. So the faster you can get those, the better. So growth is almost always the right choice. Except if you can't get to level 5, in which case you want to think about how valuable quick growth is versus your maximum level, in which case you might choose Gildar. But if you've already got a ton of grain, and your economy is already running fine because you have a town or two already specialized in Gildar, adding an extra, you know, 30 Gildar per turn isn't going to be, you know, monumentally changing to your empire. So you're better off turning it into a place to build a very specific strategy type unit for your army. And also, if you're building your tank units outside of your fortresses, then your fortresses then have extra time and resources to build other types of units. Specifically, you know, what they're best at really is archers and the sort of sword and shield attack units. Mostly your cavalry will be built in fortresses, your knights and so on. And then, of course, I think that conclaves, you know, while they should be able to do research or mana, or some combination of the two, depending on how you specialize, it's also a good idea to let them be building the mage units, because they can build a mage unit that has really great spell resistance, and very strong bonuses to attacks and things like that, or some combinations of, you know, like very resistant to magic other units. In the case that you're, you know, in the deadlock battle against a very powerful mage faction like Paradin, you might be better off building all of your units from a conclave, which is also a choice. So I think it's important to add those other training options to other cities, because we're going to have maybe 6 to 7 cities by the end of the mid-game, if you're one of the players that's winning. And there should be lots of different kinds of each city choice you make. Alright, well, thanks for watching and listening to me drone on about balance and such. Hopefully some of it was informative. And I suppose I'll come back with another video sometime tomorrow. I'll see y'all.